This is the Urahara Shoten, a good store and a good location. Hey guys, welcome back to the Bucket Think Tank with a round of comic chat. And so the Batman Failsafe story ended. Well, the Batman Zernar thing. What do we call this? I don't know. But anyway, on another note, we kind of missed the last couple ones. I don't know why, but whatever. So our Funko for this one is a new one we got. Urahara and Yoruichi as a cat. You know, those of you that know about Yoruichi know about Yoruichi. But anyway, so I was really excited to get this one. This is my first Bleach Funko, because the other ones haven't really wowed me yet. But you know, Urahara was like, it's Urahara. If you know, you know. But anyway, so Batman 148, 149 are, well, it's the end of this story. So anyway, when we last left off, Zur-En-Arrh, the other persona within Batman, took over the Failsafe robot, and then decided to tell everybody he was Batman, and then just went ham on Gotham City. Like, you know what, yeah, we are taking criminals, and it's none of this whole Arkham Asylum, no. They're all going underneath the jails. Not to be killed, but to be reprogrammed and whatnot. And I'm like, okay, weird. And everyone thinks it's Bruce as Batman, but it's not Bruce as Batman. And then there's like this other Robin going along here. It's all kind of wild and interesting. And Vandal Savage becomes commissioner of the GCPD. And I'm like, how did that happen? Why is Maricano like the biggest idiot introduced in Batman comics since Dr. Arkham? But whatever. Since then, Bruce has been trying to get his head on straight, trying to avoid Zur-En-Arrh while he gets his suit self together. Tim has found him. He's like, okay, you know what? It's time. It's time we get on the move. So with his new hodgepodge Batman suit, really hodgepodge Batman suit, he convinces his favorite kids, Dick, Barbara, Jason, and Tim, that, you know, I've messed up. And I'd like to say everything stupid I've done is because of Zer, but it's also just been because of my inability to open up with you guys. I think this is sort of where Zdarsky's story starts to fall apart, depending on who you ask. The dynamic between Bruce and Zur-En-Arrh, I don't think is ever truly fleshed out in the way I think it should be. Like, this should have been longer. But, to be fair, every now and then it turns out Bruce Wayne can't really stand up to pure Batman. It's a set of skills, intelligence. It's really is the ultimate crime-fighting machine. What is Bruce going to do? He has to play the strengths of Bruce Wayne. But I don't think Zdarsky's really figured that out yet, especially here. But anyway, the whole point is here, we're going to stop Zer as family. And yeah, this ends up in the weirdest way possible. So what happens is, because Zer is in a failsafe body, Failsafe's prerogative is to stop Batman if he goes too far, if he crosses the line. If Zer is in the Failsafe suit, the suit will stop itself. So the question is, what happens then? Well, Batman has to kill someone. So Bruce wants to be himself, using some Lazarus tech to possibly bring him back at the last second. Jay's like, no, if you really are open about becoming a team, this being a family, you have to let me do it. Alright? And that's what happens. Jason, quote-unquote, dies. The Zur-En-Arrh suit activates and stops everything. And there we go. And then we come to Batman 149. And 149 is your reset everything back to zero issue. And it's too neat of a bow, but if I'm being honest, the reason it's too neat of a bow is because there was no other way to do that. Because Zdarsky's trying to put a bow on everything that's been happening in Batman's book since Tom King took over the book, and I think it was, 2015? 2016? So yeah, a good while. A lot of plot threads have been building up since then, coming up to now, have to sort of finally get tied or be in a new position for the next story going forward, which I believe Zdarsky's still going to be on. And so he starts by taking care of this ultimate Robin, the Robin of Zur-En-Arrh. It turns out this is a clone of Bruce. It's a clone of Bruce that he has used, well, that Zur created, because, like, who else does he trust but himself? So, yeah, the problem is the clone's also aging really fast. And there's no real way to stop it. So, presumably, Zur-En-Arrh was just going to keep cycling through different versions of Bruce Wayne to be his Robin. Which I think sort of tracks. It's sort of like the big difference between Batman of Zur-En-Arrh and Bruce Wayne as Batman. Bruce Wayne as Batman does not like the idea of expendable, easily to replace soldiers. He doesn't view them as soldiers. He views them as his kids, his sons, his daughters. They're his family. And so he can't just go off and replace them. It takes a lot for Bruce to decide to get a new Robin, to decide to... Actually, half the time, he doesn't decide to get a new Robin. They're usually thrust upon him. He didn't want Robin in the first place. But it was the only option for Dick. Jason needed that direction. Tim refused to go away. And Damian, well, we couldn't leave Damian unattended. So now he's trying to figure out a way to save, well, himself, effectively. Damian thinks it's stupid because apparently they lost the Failsafe robot. And Bruce is like, we'll get to it when we get to it. Like, no, we really should look for it now. By the way, Amanda Waller finds that. So, yeah, well, she took it. Meanwhile, at the same time, Bruce is going through his sort of memories. Because, as it turns out, there's a lot of what Zur's been doing while Bruce has sort of been either occupied or asleep that he didn't know about. And it's starting to scare Bruce, because he's like, so am I just another contingency plan for him? He's remembering, like, other bat caves that were made without his knowledge, a whole bunch of other stuff that's just sort of... He didn't know. Like, how far ahead has Zur been planning? This hasn't been going on for years. It's sort of interesting because it means that at the end of the day, Bruce's greatest enemy has been Batman. It's kind of a fun idea, if you think about it. And I think had the story been allowed to be longer, I think it would have been a bit more interesting. Bruce also squares it out with, Vandal Savage. He's like, okay, so you know what? I'll let you have the house. I'll let you operate as you will. But when I call, you call, right? Bruce blows up the building. He blows up the glass thing like, no, shut up. Punches him. You can keep the house. You can keep the cave. I don't care. And goes off there. And it also turns out that Zur-En-Arrh has apparently been embezzling money or storing money in different accounts. And, it all goes to Bruce. So the weird thing is, during Tinian's run, Bruce lost his entire fortune. All right? It was in the hands of Lucius Fox, who's doing no one knows with it because he left before that story plot got revealed or resolved. And so I guess Lucius still has those billions of dollars, and Bruce just sort of has his other billions. Like, okay, I'm back to being rich now. All right, there we go. Like, so what happened? And this is something that happens a lot. All right, it's actually one of the most annoying things in comics when you leave certain things just hanging in the ether. All right, Jeff Johns pointed out that, hey, Diana has a brother, a twin. All right, and he does not handle that. He goes off and what do you do? Like, DC Rebirth is where I want to go now. He never brings that up again. He never brings up Jason. It follows to James Robinson, the second writer for Wonder Woman in DC Rebirth, to address the issue. Oh yeah, that's right. Diana has a brother. We should probably do that. But anyway, so now Zdarsky's like, well, I was going to give him his money back. Like, there's no reason for him not to have it. There's no in-story reason anymore. He's like, oh, well, the IRS is watching him. Like, so, like, it's not a good enough reason. Like, the money should have been put somewhere where Bruce could never get to it again. Not in the hands of, like, his most trusted aides, now that Alfred's dead. Granted, Lucius also lost his mind, courtesy of Joker War, but we still don't know where he is on that one, so I don't know. Let me find out. It's in the I Am Batman story. I'm still not going to read it. So yeah, Bruce has his billions back, or some billions back, and he reconnects with Catwoman as they sort of not talk about that entire mess that was Gotham War. He buys and rebuilds Pennyworth Manor as a home for all of his Chucklehead kids. Your Dicks, your Jasons, your Tims, your Babs, your Stephs, you Cass, even you, Duke, and you, Damien. It's like, you can all come in here. I'm also going to help rebuild the broken homes here. Wayne, the Wayne family will be in the center of Gotham City now. No longer far off in a place where it makes more sense to, do my clandestine superhero affairs. No, right here in the center. And, yeah, that's where we are now. The sort of resetting of the status quo. That is Bruce's life. All right? He still doesn't have his billions. Alfred's still dead. And, he hasn't bothered looking for that Zernar robot. But overall, he's in a good spot. Gotham City is in such a weird state right now. So, Mayor Nakano still hates Batman. But due to his incompetence, Vandal Savage, of all people, is now the commissioner of the GCPD. And there's still superheroes out here, en masse, going around, doing what they want anyway. So I'm trying to figure out what was Nakano's point. He did nothing but made things worse. The magistrates, the anti-mask propaganda he's put out. No, he's so bad at this. Waller has a Zernar Batman failsafe thing. And overall, I think Zdarsky's story sort of came out at necessarily the wrong point. Because DC's doing Absolute Power. And Absolute Power is this big event going into... it started last month. So... Well, it started this month. I think it started last month. And that's going to be the next big shakeup for DC Comics. So Zdarsky started off what I think was a very interesting story. But I think had Absolute Power been pushed back maybe a month or two, it might have been better. But I think DC is trying to really get this fixing of its own continuity and universe down now. But overall, I don't know yet. So Absolute Power will be what decides it. Overall, though, I think Zdarsky's first major story, I think the Failsafe story is great. The In Another Earth story was weird, but I like how it piggybacked into the Zur and the Failsafe stuff and how that played a role. I think the Batman Zernar, even if you tie in the Night book he wrote, it still feels a bit wonky. I think the point where it really fell apart was Gotham War. Because I think at the end of the day, it didn't matter what the event was. What mattered was that we saw Zernar influencing Bruce more and more. And I think he couldn't think of a different way to do that other than this sort of issue with Catwoman and this sort of weird question about justice. The problem is that the story, whether it was written by Zdarsky or... I forget her name. The lady that was on the Catwoman book at that time, none of them really addressed the issue of the question. Is it alright to tolerate some crime if it's going to get rid of other crime? And I think at some point Zdarsky handled that better than... Why can I not remember her name? Was it Vita Ayala? No. It's nowhere near that toxic. Nowhere near that controversial person. Dang it, No, I don't know. But... let me find out it was Vita Ayala. The problem is that issue's never resolved. It's like Stephanie feels conflicted. Like, because violent crime is going down, I just let that dude rob that lady. I look at you, okay, listen what you just said. And realize that none of you can do is like, Bruce, I'm getting into Gotham War again. We're going to stop. What matters is that's over. Everyone's, I guess, is all right with that happening. Selena's all right with it happening. Hopefully they're talking, hey, Selena, could you not sleep with other dudes? Since we're still like, a couple or something. I don't know. You know what? I've whinged enough. Overall, I will say this. I have enjoyed Zdarsky's Batman run. Is it perfect? Hell no. Is it brilliant? No. But it's full of a bunch of really good ideas. And I respect that a bit more sometimes. I still would have ultimately, I think, would have redone this, but whatever. So anyway, what did you guys think of the whole Batman, Failsafe, Zernar storyline with Gotham War, and it's feeling like it's ended way too early? Leave your thoughts in the comment section. I'll catch you all later. This is Bucket Think Tank signing off. Thanks for watching as always. Make a fandom serve you well.